It's not the impact of a plane crash that kills most people, it's the smoke and flames afterwards. Would you know how to get out quickly?
We need to know exactly what we're going to do if a situation would arise, because the conditions will change very rapidly.
Tonight, experts show us exactly what you should do. If you're in a crash, you may have as little as 90 seconds before a fire outside of a plane moves inside.
But there are ways to boost your chances of survival. David Highfield is here now with his How to Survive It report. David?
Yeah, and you know, the point of this isn't to make anyone paranoid about flying. It's really a very safe way to travel. Instead, this is all about being prepared. We all know you should listen to the safety instructions, look at the safety cards, but some experts taught me some things you might not know. This isn't a real plane crash. Instead, I'm inside a simulator.
This gives you a really good idea of how hot it gets.
These flames are controlled, fueled by propane.
Right now in this container, we're at about 400 to 500 degrees. A real fire environment can even be higher than that.
As frightening as this looks, it's important to remember plane crashes are rare. According to the NTSB, 1 in 1.2 million flights will have some kind of accident, and 76% of passengers will survive even the most serious crashes. Take this Air France crash in Toronto. The plane caught fire after skidding off the runway, but more than 300 people on board evacuated and survived.
You could see the fire and the black smoke.
In 2008, this Continental flight crashed at the Denver airport. The right side of it burned, but no one was killed.
214 Heavy, emergency vehicles are responding.
And 2 years ago, this Asiana Airlines plane crashed in San Francisco. 3 people died, but more than 300 others survived.
Rescue 11 Airport Fire.
At Pittsburgh International, the Allegheny County Airport Authority Fire Rescue Department is prepared if something were to happen here. They train frequently, even teach fire crews from other airports using this simulator.
There's a fine line between victims and survivors.
Chief Rick Wilson says you want to brace yourself like this if your plane is going down, and think about this.
We want to protect our hands. We're going to get ourselves in a position where nothing can fall from overhead onto our hands, and we're as far forward as we can be.
If your hands get hurt, it'll make escaping all the more difficult. How would you open this hatch if you were told to?
When you pull that down, the whole door is going to come in towards you. So then all we do is we pick it up. You're just going to throw it out on the wing.
It's better to have your feet and legs covered, and that means no flip-flops or high heels, and also no shorts.
Wear socks, wear long pants. A dress, nylons. I mean, it looks nice, but it's probably not ideal.
When you get on a plane, he recommends counting the seats to an exit.
1, 2, and then 3. So I know if I had to evacuate and it was smoke-filled, I could count backwards to get myself out.
And to show me just how difficult it is to see in a smoky plane, they turn on the simulator.
When you're exiting the plane, you don't want to stand up too high because there's more smoke up there and it can be toxic gases. You want to stay kind of low.
The seats are designed to be flame retardant. However, within just a few seconds, the cabin of the aircraft could fill up with smoke.
Okay, David, we're going to stay low, but we're not going to crawl because we don't want people to trip over us. We don't want to trip over anybody else. On here.
Next up, Lieutenant Tom Benora makes sure I'm ready for them to turn on the flames. Remember, a fire outside may only take 90 seconds to get inside.
Now what happens here is the fire was either outside the aircraft or started inside, and we can see how very quickly the heat toxic gases run.
Photographer Ian Smith felt that heat firsthand. He stood up for a moment and then had to get to the door. We're one compartment back from the flames, but the heat is so intense right here. I totally understand why they tell you not to wear shorts, because you want as much protection as you possibly can have. Also, keep in mind, flames could keep you from getting out of the exit closest to you. Stay alert during takeoff and landing. Statistics show that's when most crashes happen. Finally, in an emergency, people sometimes forget that seatbelts on a plane are different than what we're used to in a car where there's a button to push.
People push, 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 push until somebody actually lifts and lets them out of their seat.
As safe as flying is, the chief says it still makes sense to be ready in case something happens.
It's the people that have that little bit of preparedness and that situational awareness that end up being the survivors.
Now, if you're doubting everyone can get out in time, Chief Wilson says they did a drill with a plane full of people. They evacuated the whole thing in less than 2 minutes. Leave your luggage, your laptop, your purse behind. People are important, not things. Listen to what flight attendants are telling you, and once you're out, get a safe distance away from the wreckage as far as you can get away.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, you know, we always think if there's a plane crash or a plane incident, everyone's going to die anyway. But we have these situations like the Miracle on the Hudson.
Absolutely.
Everybody survives in a situation like that. And you have a T-shirt and a bottle of water.
Yeah,
what are these for?
There is a reason. You know, Chief Wilson, when he goes on a flight, he takes a bottle of water. And it's not to drink. It's if he were in a situation and it filled with smoke, he would soak a piece of clothing, put it up over his mouth, and be able to breathe that way. It would help filter things out, you know, and he's a fire chief, so he's a little more prepared than the rest of us.
Right.
But if you have a bottle of water with you, remember that.
Yeah, it's good. It's good
tip.
training. It's a good idea. People have to think through that, and I think that's the other aspect of this that we have to remember as well. That there are these emergency crews out there at the airports. They get there as fast as they can, but you still need to do something like this to be able to survive when you have a crash landing. And the other part you have to remember too, as you said, 1 in 1.2 million flights.
Yeah.
So it's
very rare.
It's rare.
Very rare.
But always be prepared.
Absolutely.
David, thank you.
All right, David.